What's up, guys? It's time for me to make my official Super Bowl 56 prediction. Let's dive into it. We got the Bengals taking on the Rams. Let's start off with how both teams got to this moment. The Rams were in the Super Bowl 3 years ago, but this was a completely different football team. They had Jared Goff under center, Todd Gurley was their star running back, and they didn't have guys like Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham Jr., Von Miller, or Matthew Stafford. During this offseason, they were the most aggressive team. They knew that Jared Goff wasn't the QB of the future. That became very clear following the 2 seasons after that Super Bowl 53 loss. And in Super Bowl 53, Jared Goff only scored 3 points. Sean McVay knew he had to make a big, splashy, dynamic move, and boy oh boy, has Matthew Stafford lived up to the billing. But that didn't stop them from making more moves. They went out and traded for Von Miller, who was the MVP of Super Bowl 50. They signed Odell Beckham Jr., who has completely revitalized his career in Los Angeles. This is a team that is absolutely loaded. They have the better roster, they're at home, and they should be favored to win the Super Bowl. Let's shift our attention over to the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a team 2 years ago that had the number 1 overall pick and only had 2 wins. They were 2-14. But guess what, folks? They won the lottery because they got Joe Burrow. Within 2 years, Joe Burrow has completely transformed this organization. He has been a force multiplier and has this team in Super Bowl 56. Before I eventually pick the Super Bowl champion this season, I want to break down each and every single position. I like both of these quarterbacks a lot. Stafford has cleared up all the doubts we had about him when he first came to LA, but I'm going to have to give Joe Burrow the edge. Coming off that devastating, gruesome injury, bringing this team to the Super Bowl essentially in his first full season as a starter is beyond impressive. I have to give him the edge. Cincinnati's running backs have played better than Los Angeles all season long. Mixon is not only a threat in terms of running the football, but he can catch passes out of the backfield. We saw that on full display against Baltimore. And Samaje Perine scored a touchdown against Kansas City in the AFC title game. Let's look at the receiving core. If you want to give the Rams the edge because of Cooper Kupp, I can't blame you. He's the Triple Crown winner. He led the NFL in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Odell Beckham has completely revitalized his career in LA. He's a big, splashy name. I get it. But the Bengals have a phenomenal receiving core. Jamar Chase just won Rookie of the Year. He has a phenomenal connection with Joe Burrow. T. Higgins is no slouch. He was the first pick of the 2nd round. And Tyler Boyd, a couple of years ago, ended Baltimore's season and sent Buffalo to the playoffs in 2017. So Cincinnati has firepower. The biggest issue the Bengals face is the offensive line. That clearly goes to the Rams. They have a much better unit than Cincy. Joe Burrow got sacked 51 times this season. He got sacked 9 times against Tennessee. Yet Cincinnati is still in the Super Bowl. I'm going to talk about how the Bengals can overcome that later on. But let's break down the defenses. When I look at the Rams' defensive line, they are absolutely loaded. Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the NFL. Von Miller, like I said before, won the Super Bowl 50 MVP. Greg Gaines is a stud. Leonard Floyd can get after the quarterback. I love what I'm seeing from A'Shaun Robinson. That being said, Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard got after Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game. I believe they will put the pressure on Matthew Stafford and heat him up. when needed. When I look at the linebackers, I'm giving Cincy the edge. The Rams linebackers have struggled all year out in coverage. This is the perfect opportunity for Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine to capitalize. Finally, the Rams have the edge in the secondary. Jalen Ramsey is a lockdown corner. I'm interested to see who wins that one-on-one battle between him and Jamar Chase. Ramsey talked a lot of trash this week. The last time he did that was the 2017 AFC Championship game against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, and the Jacksonville Jaguars ended up losing. Let's see if he can back up his big talk. That being said, Cincinnati's secondary is no slouch. They had 3 interceptions against Ryan Tannehill. They had a huge interception the week before against Derek Carr to get their first playoff win since 1991. And against Kansas City, when they needed to step up on the defensive side of the ball, they did. They executed in the gotta-have-it moments. In the first half of that ball game, Kansas City was moving the ball up and down Cincy's throat. But on the final play of the first half, they kept Kansas City out of the end zone. They held that team to 3 points, and Patrick Mahomes was intercepted twice in that ball game. This unit is really good. They're underrated. They've been underrated all season long, and I expect them to play well on Sunday. Finally, we got to dive into the head coaches. Sean McVay has a clear edge over Zach Taylor. However, Taylor was a former assistant under Sean McVay. I think he may have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. This is student versus teacher. McVay also has a losing record against his former assistants. I know it's a small sample size. It was against Matt LaFleur both times, but he's 0-2. I think Zach Taylor has a unique opportunity to outcoach Sean McVay on Sunday. He's an analytics type of guy. I believe on every single 4th and short, he will be aggressive. He will go for it. He understands the moment. He understands the talent the Los Angeles Rams present. He knows that he needs to do everything in his power to win this game, and I believe he will. I'm going with Cincinnati. I love the way how this team has played all year. I love the underdog mentality. This is a team that nobody picked before the start of the year to get to the Super Bowl. Not only did they get to the Super Bowl, but they dealt with their fair share of adversity all throughout the season. After they beat Baltimore, they were 5-2. People started hyping them up. They're AFC North champions. They're going to go to the playoffs. Finally, this is it. And then they lost to Mike White and the Jets. Following that loss, they lost to Cleveland and Baker Mayfield. Oh my goodness, the sky is falling. The Bengals went from having the number 1 seed in the AFC North to falling to last place in the division. That being said, following the bye week, they found a way to become the hottest team in football. I love what the Bengals have done. This will be close. I love what both defenses have done all year. The biggest issue the Bengals have is their offensive line versus the Rams' D-line. But if they can get Mixon out in space, run the football, they have a shot. And I believe Joe Burrow will make 2 or 3 special plays in this ball game that very few quarterbacks can make in this league. He is playing at a level you rarely see at the quarterback position. I love everything this kid has to offer. The last 8 playoff games have been determined by 1 possession. I believe this game will go down to the wire. The Bengals will win the turnover differential in this matchup. The Rams typically like to give the ball away. They turned the football over 4 times against Tampa. They had a crucial turnover in the red zone against the 49ers. Stafford also had a turnover that was in Jaquiski Tartt's hands. He dropped it, and that play could have changed the momentum of the game. The Rams are at home, but if the Bengals get off to the lead, that crowd is going to be pulling for the upset. This isn't a home field advantage. 65% of the fans last week and 2 weeks ago were 49ers fans. They completely took over SoFi. This thing is coming down to the end. I trust Evan McPherson more than Matt Gay. Matt Gay missed a kick at the end of the first half against San Francisco. He also missed a kick late in the ballgame against Tampa Bay that could have put Tom Brady, the GOAT, in the coffin. If he makes that kick, it's 30-13. Tampa Bay is toast. Instead, Tampa Bay scored 2 touchdowns, tied it up at 27-27. In Matt Gay's defense, he did make the kick that ultimately won the game, but Evan McPherson has been money. He kicked a walk-off against Kansas City to win the AFC North. He kicked a walk-off against Tennessee to advance to the AFC title game. He also kicked a walk-off against KC to advance to the Super Bowl. I believe history will repeat itself. Evan McPherson walks it off at the end. I got Cincy winning 26-23. The Cincinnati Bengals will win their first Super Bowl. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you like this video. Be sure to give it a subscribe. I also have Joe Burrow winning Super Bowl MVP. Thanks, guys.